Hello, everyone. I'm John Yema. I'm the editor of the Christian Science Monitor, and with me today...
I'm Jonathan Wells. I'm the managing publisher of the Christian Science Monitor.
Well, by now you've heard about some important changes to the Christian Science Monitor as it moves into its next century. And Jonathan and I are here today to talk to you about what's behind those changes, how we came to this point, and some of the details that I think may be on your minds.
We're in a period of big change, certainly, John, and I think one thing that's important for everyone to understand is that everything that we've been thinking through that has brought us to this point today has been a process of deep reflection and prayer and consideration. And in fact, it's really been a 2-year journey that the Board of Trustees, senior management, our editorial staff, and publishing staff have all participated in. I think it's useful to take a moment and look at the factors that we were trying to think through and resolve and understand their meaning and import that led us to this point. One was everyone was recognizing a rapidly changing media landscape. Print was going through tremendous change. There was a big migration of readers into online media.
And, you know, I'll just break in there and say that within the media industry in general, I think there's a real recognition that the model is broken. The old business model for print journalism is broken. It's very difficult to distribute, to print, to cut down the trees, to bring the ink, to run the presses, to drive the trucks, to distribute a print newspaper product. And so while the internet has disrupted a lot of the businesses, the traditional business that that regional newspapers and national newspapers like the Monitor have been in, the internet also gives us a tremendous opportunity to reach people where they are, not just in the United States, not just on the East Coast, but all around the world.
Exactly, and in addition to looking at the changing media landscape and the disruption of the business models, it was very important to us that we made sure we were positioning the Monitor to have the major impact it could and should have. And the web and the opportunity to have a global distribution via the web was a critical part of our thinking.
The way we've configured our strategy now, which I think will meet people increasingly where they are, is that the Daily Monitor really exists as an online daily newspaper. To be a truly 24/7 international daily newspaper, we now have this tremendous opportunity with the web. And so if we put our resources, our reporting resources into the kind of the web-first orientation for the Daily Monitor, and then we have for our print product a weekly edition that's available mostly for weekend reading when people still have time. So a print product for weekends basically fits the same need that a Sunday newspaper in most metropolitan areas fit, which is people still have a little bit of leisure time to imbibe a deeper read.
At the same time, we have an audience in print, and there is a way to use print effectively, and we didn't want to abandon that audience, and it wasn't time to abandon that medium. And I think our research was showing that when people stopped subscribing to the Monitor, it was for a couple of reasons. One, the price of the print product, and two, no time to read. We're also launching what we're calling an electronic subscription product. This will be available for people to receive electronically in their homes every day. And we're conceiving it as having some key components that I think are very interesting. They include a column from the editor, yourself or others on the staff, some of the key stories of the day, links to other stories on the web, and the Monitor's daily religious article.
And we recognize that there may be people who don't see the internet as being quite as friendly, but the print product that we'll be doing, we hope will fill the need, and we hope that there'll just be patience as we go through this transition, and that the combination, I think you have pointed out, of the email product and the print product and the online, that some combination there will give Monitor readers, Monitor subscribers, give them Monitor perspective in some form that will meet their needs. A lot of people may be wondering, why now? Why in the fall of 2008 would we be announcing this change, and why at this moment when a lot of other media organizations are looking at changes, but perhaps none of our size has taken this bold a move and is moving so dramatically toward the web and toward a weekly print product. I can say that I know a number of people in the world of American journalism, and they're watching us, and they're very interested in us as a model because many of them are shackled to their printing presses, their local distribution, their local advertising base. The Monitor doesn't have that. The Monitor really is free to make a change that I really believe that most of the rest of the newspaper industry is going to have to make very rapidly.
Well, frankly, sometimes changes in the industry, changes in the consumption of news, and the economics underlying the industry hit the Monitor first. And we're sometimes forced to be an early change agent in terms of figuring out how to go forward to be a viable news organization. I think there's some very interesting aspects of this development, John, that people might be interested in hearing more about. You might want to talk a little bit about sort of the concept of the central editorial pool and how we're going to get all this done.
What we're looking at is a way of having, as you said, Jonathan, a central pool of the same reporters who are now covering the Middle East or Russia or Washington or other parts of the country or other parts of the world. Those reporters will write stories for the web, or they'll write stories for the weekly, so that when some event occurs, we can almost immediately write a story, and instead of waiting to go through this very long production cycle that has us closing our presses or running the presses around noon on any given day, and then essentially being blind to the news for the next 12 to 24 hours, we'll be able to actually publish almost immediately. So if a story happens at 2 in the afternoon, we could be on the web at 3 in the afternoon. A couple of other exciting things about a much more robust web presence. Of course, we know that we'll be more relevant with the news, but we'll also be able to aggregate, that is, to point to content out there in the world that we see that is similar to Monitor content, and there's a lot of it. There are a lot of good people thinking, trying to solve problems, trying to understand in a non-sensational way the world, and the website gives us the ability to essentially link to them. So you could begin to think of csmonitor.com as not just this trusted news source, but also as a kind of a portal in which our editors will help point you to other areas on the World Wide Web, other areas of thinking that are also attempting to do what the Monitor is doing. And in addition, the Internet gives us the ability, for the first time, really to have a true two-way conversation, an interactive conversation with our readers, and essentially to build a community of people who care about the values that the Monitor stands for.
It's a community that can work together to shed light on dark places, and it's that community that can work together to find solutions, which is a core component of Monitor journalism.
What we really want is csmonitor.com to be a destination for people, a sort of in the same way that the Monitor was this friend that was brought into people's lives and into people's homes. We want csmonitor.com to be a website in which you feel as though you are getting essentially the trusted source of news and a safe kind of environment in which to both imbibe news and to react to it and interact with it. Well, Jonathan, there's probably a lot more that could be said here, and there are a lot more questions that people will have, and there's a lot more that will happen as we move toward the publication of the new print weekly Monitor and the much more robust website. But I just want to take a moment to say thank you to Monitor subscribers, Monitor readers, people who care about the Monitor. Over its first 100 years, you have made the Monitor what it is. Without you, Christian Science Monitor journalism wouldn't be there.
John, I couldn't agree more, and I want to thank everyone that listened in to this conversation today. We have a commitment to continuing this conversation in an ongoing dialogue with our readers and all of those that support Monitor journalism. I think it's important that we recognize that you are our partners in this endeavor, and without you, the Monitor and Monitor journalism could not move forward. So thank you very much.